Hello guys and welcome to my new video, and today we'll talk about a senatorial primary race that will happen in North Carolina in the first week of March the 3rd. And right now we have, in the Democratic side, a very easy win for the Democratic Roy Cooper, former governor of North Carolina, and in the Republican side we have a more evenly divided race, even though Whatley has the advantage. So if you want to know my prediction, if you want to get all the information that you need to get to this primary in a great shape, you just need to follow for more and also subscribe to the channel down below. So this race is a very particularly interesting race because, as you can see here, the polls we have right now shows an 8.6 percentage points lead for Roy Cooper, former governor, as I said, of North Carolina. But here's an important question. This was the polls we got last January. So I mean, it's very old polls. We still need to understand what's happening here, and Roy Cooper is a great candidate, I can say that. And right now my prediction, if you want to leave the video, if you just don't care about the prediction and neither of that, I'm just gonna say the result. I think Roy Cooper is gonna win this, and in the primary I think Whatley from the Republican side will win. This is just my prediction, the bottom line of this video. If you want to leave, please leave. Now for the voters that want to understand why. So, as you can see here, the polls we have here, Thom Tillis was a senator. He resigned. Why? Because of disagreements with President Trump, like many we saw, Marjorie Taylor Greene as another example, and a lot of that thing. If you want to go here, I'm sorry, not there, you want to go here to 2020, and I'm choosing 2020 because Roy Cooper was re-elected governor of North Carolina in 2020, and he won by almost 5 points, 4.5 points. This shows that he's a great candidate. Why? Because he's able to get, and remember, 2020 was a Democratic year. I know Biden lost it by around 1.5 points, if I'm not mistaken, 70,000 votes to be more concrete, and Roy Cooper was able to win because he got Republican voters and also a lot of independents, especially right here. This is Wake County, very important place in North Carolina, and also Mecklenburg County, this is Charlotte. This is very important. And the research triangle I was talking about around Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, those are very important counties. And any Democrat, in order to win the state of North Carolina, needs to get above there, get huge percentages. I mean, you cannot just win, you need to win by lopsided margins, like Durham County above 80. Biden, I don't think he was able to get above 80 in Durham County in North Carolina. He was, but barely. But if you go here for Republican counties as well, the Democratic candidate, Roy Cooper, was able to get some better percentages. If you go, for example, to Burke County, this region here from Asheville down all the way to Winston-Salem, it's a very important region for President Trump and for any Republican in North Carolina, because those are big counties. I mean, for Republican averages, getting like 100,000 votes in a county. For example, here it's only 40,000, but here's like 40,000. But you do have here some bigger counties. For example, Catawba County. Those are very big. Those are very big counties for Republican standards, and the Republicans need to run it up the margins. Like Trump got almost 70 plus percent in many of those counties. If you go to the governor's race, if you go here to Roy Cooper, he was able to narrow the margin. So instead of getting like 70% here for the Republican, he narrowed to 65. And this is what matters. But right now we have here more polls, as you can see. And this one was Republican sponsor, showed 24 points for Cooper. I don't believe this. I think Cooper will win, but not by 24 points. For God's sake, probably for around 5 to 10, I would say, if this is really bad year for the Republicans. If it is not a so bad year, I would say, even if 2 to 5, that will be a great advantage. But if you're here 2024, Trump was able to win North Carolina by a bigger margin in 2020. Why? Because he was able to get votes down in the south part of the state, around Wilmington and also here around Charlotte. Not in Charlotte itself, he did better. Not in the suburbs of Union County, because he's still losing voters in very conservative suburbs. For example, Mitt Romney did better here, John McCain as well, and Trump is losing those voters because they're more moderate, they're more college educated, and Trump is not the favorite in those parts. You can like him or not, but this is just a fact. And if you go, for example, here to those counties of black communities, a lot of black voters here, and those are important for the Democratic Party, even though they were changing and they were shifting to the Republican Party around this area. If you go, for example, here to, let's say, Richmond County, for example, 60-40, and now you want to compare to 2012, for example. 2012, I'm sorry, let's go to North Carolina. Look at Richmond County here. It went for Obama by 3. That's a 23-point shift in just 12 years. I mean just because those are very black communities. And I mean, Obama was black. That's why he was able to gather those voters, he was able to energize those people, but we never saw that after it. And that is a problem of the Democratic Party, not minorities. They need to gather those votes. Otherwise, it will not win. That's what's happening with Kamala. Even though she said, I'm black and I'm a very hardworking person, I'm from the middle class, she said it a lot of times, but she was not able to gather those voters. And that's the problem of the Democratic Party, to come to the middle, to come to the lowest, to come to the poorest people, I would say. Because even though you can argue, oh, but Trump is giving tax cuts to billionaires, people don't care about that. I mean, don't care in terms of that's not representing what's happening in the state, what's happening in the country. And North Carolina, you consider here in the Republican primary, we do have a lot of candidates. But I mean, Whatley is the former chair of the Republican National Committee, and this is probably the most, in terms of the candidates, it's probably the one who's going to win the primary. You can see here all the supports, and I'm sorry, Thom Tillis got, but he withdrew because of that reason. He disagreements with President Trump, and Whatley got Trump's approval and Trump's endorsement. If you're not familiar with this, everyone that gets the Donald Trump endorsement in the Republican Party will get the nomination, no matter what happens. That's probably what happens all the time. Even though Mark Robinson, former candidate for governor last year, and he did a terrible job because he was accused of sexual assaults and very bad things, and that's why he lost by a very lopsided margin against the Democratic challenger that won the gubernatorial race. And he's supporting Don Brown, but that's not going to happen. I mean, as you can see here, for the fundraising, it's 5 million against 145,000. And even though I said multiple times, money is not just the issue that matters in terms of races, in terms of elections. It also matters enthusiasm. But if you don't have enthusiasm, because the Republicans right now, considering their position in the government, it's very hard to have enthusiasm because it's what happens all the time. The Democrats are the ones who need to be energized because they're in their position. They want to show a message to Washington, and that's really what happens. I mean, it's normal for the Republican Party right now not to be energized. So you need the money factor, and right now Michael Whatley is leading it. But we have, in the latest poll we got in January, 51% are still undecided. So if you're from North Carolina, early voting is starting soon. I think February the 12th. And you need to vote. You need to vote, decide your vote, and please do, because that's very important to make sure that our democracy is still running. And that's a very important issue, I would say. And also in the Democratic primary, I mean, Roy Cooper got all the supports he needs. Kamala Harris, a lot of senators, representatives. And, I mean, he got 17.9 or 18 million, if you want to say. 18 million here against 5 million. You can say Roy Cooper's probably going to win. And that is that's a fact. I mean, he's probably going to win. And also not just because of the campaign finance reports he have and in terms of the money he has, it's also in terms of enthusiasm. And he has much more than the Republican candidates do, because that's just the way it is. Opposition parties have better enthusiasm. And remember, this is a very key state because this is a must win if the Democrats want to reach close to the majority in the Senate. It's a very hard task, and I would say this, but this is a must win for the Democrats. The polls here showing Cooper ahead. Also, in terms of the prediction markets, they're saying a polling market in College, they're saying Democrats are ahead in North Carolina, and here the aggregate pollsters, if you will, the Cook, Race to the White House, Inside Elections, and Sabato's Crystal Ball, is saying all of them are saying toss up, apart from one that says lean Democratic. I would say right now this is not lean Democratic, this is likely Democratic. That's my prediction, and that's it. I mean, guys, this is a very important race because no Democrat has won election since 2008 in North Carolina in terms of the Senate and in terms of the presidency. Obama won 2008 alongside Kay Hagan. Not since then a Democrat was able to win, apart from the gubernatorial races that Roy Cooper himself was able to win two times in a row in 2018 and in 2020. I'm sorry, in 2016, with Trump doing a very great job there, and also in 2020, was a Biden year, if you will. Guys, this was the video. I hope you liked that video. Don't forget to subscribe to look for more, and we'll have early voting starting on North Carolina on February the 12th, and we'll be covering all of that soon. Don't forget, election day for North Carolina and for Texas as well, we already have a video in the channel, is on March the 3rd. Thank you.